Well, Jeremy, Mr. Green Thumb Gardener, welcome to Preferable Life. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm just glad to be here and share my story.
So, when did you start gardening? Catch us up.
Oh gosh, I actually started when I was really young. My grandfather actually got me started in gardening. He was one of those old school Italian guys, and I remember going up to his kitchen, and he would have scraps of bananas and like eggs, like all lined up on his kitchen like counter and things like that. It would be like all these jars. And I'd always ask him, like, Grampy, what is all that stuff up there? Like, what do you do? I put it in the garden. I put it in the garden. And this is way before, like, people had like organic gardening. And there was no such thing as like organic gardening and stuff back then. I mean, it was just like, you just did it. That's what they just did. Put bananas and eggs and everything in the garden. And then he had these huge gardens. Like, he would have like these huge like poles, and they were like this big trellis things and like these like vines coming down them and everything. And I remember just seeing every summer and that it would just be like this huge garden of just like stuff growing everywhere. And I was fascinated by it. I mean, I was just really fascinated by it. So I always ask him questions like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And, I just got into it, and I just really enjoyed it. And then, my dad, my my stepfather, my mom remarried, like he was really into gardening too. So I just kind of picked it up from them. And then, when I got my own place, I said, well, I started out with like a little container gardening, and I just did that. I had a tomato and grew that. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really love that stuff. And I don't know. I just found that it was just like something I really like to do. It was just became a passion of mine.
That's cool. Well, we have tried the gardening thing for probably about 6 years and have not hit success yet.
Well,
What's the.
you have. I mean, just
I
look at it.
have.
You started, man.
That's
I mean,
right.
that's
That's
really
right.
what you got to do is you got to get out there, just get your hands dirty and just get started. And that's really you did more than most people have done, with gardens. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm very research nerd, so I square foot gardening is what I concluded was the most efficient, and did the.
This guy right here.
Yep, that guy right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great way to start.
Yeah. So what's your goal, vision, dream? Like, you gonna be teaching people on YouTube, helping them get started and optimize their tomatoes, or what are you doing?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Sometimes you just have like this, like, I would say like vision, or I don't know if I want to call it a vision, but just kind of like you wake up one day and you're just like, I think I want to do that, and I just kind of woke up one day and I think I was with my daughter, and we had just moved into our house about a year ago. So I knew I was going to put a garden in my house. But where I live, like I live on a corner lot, like a cul-de-sac area. So, and I got all these trees in the back. So my backyard is like a big forest. I can't put a garden out there. It's just not going to happen. But I was out there with my daughter, and I do the Y guides with her. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like with the Y, they have a program, and then you can get these little patches and things like that, and you kind of do that. So one of the things was like, oh, you can do a project with your daughter. And I said, oh, honey, she likes to grow stuff too. I said, let's do like a little pot lettuce. So I said, let's just start with that, and I had this big container, and I just said, I don't know, I guess the best spot is over here. And it's like tucked away where my garden is. It's like, you wouldn't think that you could have a garden there, but it's enough sunlight that you can, have it. So I said, we put it over there. And then I kid you not, I looked at it the next day and I said, I'm going to build a garden there. And sure enough, I was down at Home Depot, went out, and this is before I really knew where the sun was and, kind of all that stuff that you kind of have to know when you're building a garden. But I said, I'm just going to build it and see what happens. And the next thing you know, I built it, and she was all excited, and get all the stuff in there, all the vegetables and everything. And then I don't know. I just woke up and said, man, maybe I could teach people how to do this, and maybe I'll just start filming myself on my iPhone and just see what happens. And you know, there I am.
Yeah. Well, that's baller. So you just started
Yeah.
recording content, and I assume you have all the time in the world, and there's no inhibitions to putting out your content, and it's effortless and easy, and you just have all the time in the world to do this content creation thing, right?
In a different dimension, yes. Yeah. There's probably a phrase that says if you find something you love to do, it just doesn't seem like work.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I kind of just think of it that way. I mean, it is a lot of work. I mean, people they just see the video or see what you're doing and they just think, wow, that's great. It just everything looks fantastic and did a great job. But it's like there's a lot of work behind it. I mean, just I actually go out and I have like a whole worksheet of like what I'm going to talk about and I write down what content I'm going to do. I got all these books. I look up things. So I do research on it. It comes natural to me, but I do a lot of research on it and then I film it, and then then I edit it, which the editing is the worst part. That we
Yeah.
talked about. So, and that's just it. Just takes a long time. It's not my strong thing, but I like it. I mean, I don't think I would do it if I didn't like it. I mean, I don't I couldn't force myself to do that. If I didn't like enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
So what you're doing is basically documenting something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, and at the same time inspiring, teaching others to kind of follow you and do the same thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what's funny is that I have two girls, I told you, and I heard something about video stuff, and they say that it will live on, obviously, as like a legacy.
Hmm.
And I always thought of myself like I've had different careers throughout my life, and I never really felt like I was like kind of leaving myself out there with any of those roles that I had in those other jobs. But doing this, creating things like just writing, and because I do write as well, and just producing video, I feel like I'm leaving out there a legacy. My kids can look at this, and my grandkids can all look at all this stuff and see, wow, look at this. But it's just something that I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing. I feel like I'm leaving them a legacy for growing tomatoes. So,
Yeah.
but just like what my grandfather did, I mean, he just, he really inspired me, with that. And, I feel like I have a part of my grandfather by doing the same stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's baller. The legacy is one of my favorite words and things to think about, and that's cool. That is absolutely a content creator benefit kind of thing, and larger than yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
well, do you have any easy gardening tips for me to take into my sad square foot gardening situation and rock out next gardening season?
Um, just keep trying. I mean, one of the great things about gardening is that you get to experiment and you get to try over and over and over again until you get it right. Because I mean, you're just gonna. I mean, I mess up all the time. I got tomatoes out there that are just not rocking it. I mean, but I still get out there and just get my hands dirty and just get in there and just keep doing it and just keep experimenting and see what works. So, man, you already got most of the way there.
That's cool. We'll just so keep planting stuff and playing in the dirt.
Exactly, man. That's what it's all about. Just have fun.
Well, that was cool. I never thought about the freaking parable of gardening and preferable life, but man, it's all the same.
Dude, it is, man. I mean, it's just when you find like your passion, I mean, you can just like align it with like anything.
Yeah.
It's just really that's what it is.
Just start and stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, just take action. I mean, there's just that's just what most people just don't do. They have all these great ideas, and they just don't even try because they're afraid of failing. And gosh, man, I mean, I don't know how many times I failed. I'm probably gonna fail today on something and tomorrow on something, but it's like, I keep telling my daughter, I was like, you just got to get out there. If you don't fail, then you're not doing something right. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get to know how to do something is by failing. So on the garden, I mean, it's just the same thing. I mean, man, I mean, my tomatoes don't come out right. So the next year, I write down the notes and I just figure it out from there. It's just how it is.
That sounds like how you accomplish anything in life. Your YouTube optimization, crafting your preferable life, your garden, learning Amazon drop shipping. I mean, you just start and get your hands dirty.
Exactly, exactly.
That's cool. That's a great picture. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's called Green Thumb Gardening. Well, you
Green Thumb Gardening.
give me a green thumbs up.
That's right. Oh, cool. I'll put a link to Jeremy's Green Thumb Gardening YouTube in the description and put his .com down there too, so you can check out all Jeremy's stuff and follow him, because taking action on something like gardening is shows you, whenever you like check things off, whenever you accomplish things, it shows you that you can accomplish more, and it kills those limiting beliefs that we have that we can't do and we can't create. So follow Jeremy, craft your garden, craft your preferable life. Jeremy, thanks for joining me, man.
Thanks, Josh, for having me.